Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a long time since I've made a podcast. Uh, I've been completely busy with a lot of other stuff. This podcast is going to be quite different and something better than the previous ones. So this podcast is going to be about basically getting your ideas to fruition, or like the whole process involved behind getting what's in your head to reality. And this whole thing has a process, and I'm going to break down the process for you so that when you're confused, or when you need a third perspective on your actions, or like if you're planning to make a business and you need guidance, or you've already started your business and then you're in a confused phase in time, then this podcast is for you. So it's not just for businesses, it's for artists, creators, it's for all kinds of people who wants to get their ideas to fruition and to reality. So I've broken down the process in like more than 10 parts, but it's gonna be it's still not gonna be that long anyway. So basically, the first step of this whole process, like either you want to become a blogger, or you want to become a businessman, you want to become an artist, you want to do something, you want to write a song, or let's say you want to do something, and all this starts from a thought and an idea in your head. Like it's all not real yet. It's only in your head. Now the process behind making it real is quite complicated, but I have somehow been able to like break it down uh, from my perspective. So basically, this is like giving any kind of creator their third perspective, so they could have a clarity, or a third perspective they could use for making better progress, or better impact of these ideas on in reality. So basically, the thing starts, this whole process starts from doing what you love. So it starts with an exploration phase where you explore a lot of things. Like you try making a YouTube video, you try blogging, you try let's say photography, you try designing, you try a lot of different things. You try writing. So this world is like an ocean, you can pick something that you really like. You can choose something that you really like, and this choice can be made from three different factors. Either you're good at it, or you really love it, you have passion for it, or third, like you think that it's a commercial process that can make you money, or you think that let's say you want to make a startup, or start a company, but the service or something that you're providing actually fits the market. So these are the only three factors that you need to keep in mind when you're going to start something. So how do you start is the biggest question. It's like it starts with exploration. So let's say you go, you like traveling, you like writing, you like something. You got to pick one direction. So if like all the knowledgeable people had to be rich, then I think librarians would be the richest in the world. But knowledge without direction is completely, it's pointless. So you need knowledge, but in one direction, which is going to be helpful. So the first thing is, I'm gonna do this podcast using a lot of examples to make it easier. So let's say you wanna start blogging, for example, and the first step is you've seen different things. You could have chosen to make YouTube videos, or you could have chosen to like make music, or start a business or something like this. But what you really liked is writing, for example, so blogging. So you chose blogging and you want to start this process. Now you have a clarity on where to put your energy, or where to put your time into. So you have chosen this direction of blogging. So now it all starts with the basic thing blogging needs. So whatever you like, everything has one basic element that it needs. Then you need the tools. So the basic element of blogging is content and writing, like content writing. So you need a good content to cover, and you need some good writing skills to start off. So once the content is done, you can put up the website and you can do the promotions, and you can have a social media and stuff like this. But the basic element of blogging is writing and good content. So you've chosen this path. I think you should take it one step at a time. At this moment, you should start taking it one step at a time. So the first step of blogging is to create content. To create content that you love talking about, or writing about. So you first build this content and your writing style at the same time. So there are courses that teach you how to write, and there are courses on content creation as well. But on the other hand, you can be completely raw and do it in your own way or your own style. So you've started the process. But the thing is, since you've started the process, the push, or like there are chances after a while you might get demotivated. Now this is the point where you start getting more consistent and more disciplined into doing what you like. Even if the excitement kind of fades off over time, you got to stick to it, you got to be committed to it. So once you start doing that, now you've done your, then you take the next step. You understand websites, you understand the other necessary things that comes along the way. So you fix it as you go, and once you fix it as you go, this zone where you put yourself into it is the zone where you leave your comfort. And so it's gonna be little, it might cause a little pain, but you're there for the long run. And then the second phase is the comfort zone phase. That's when you get out of it. And the third phase again comes back to exploration. So once you choose a topic, like you've chosen to do blogging, so once the blogging is done, you're like into blogging already now. So now what kind of blogging is the second part of exploration. You can blog about so many things in this world. You can write about so many things in this world, about travel, food, architecture. It goes on and on, lifestyle, fashion and stuff. So what is that specific thing that is pulling you? What is that specific thing that's like, keeping that fire burning inside you? So you should look for that. You should actually love doing that. So you actually look for that passion, and then you get into that. Now, so you found your interest in, let's say, food blogging. So you've chosen a direction again. Between this confusion phase, you've chosen a direction to like get into food blogging, and then you start researching on food. You start researching on the best restaurants in the world. You start researching everything. You start researching more about food. You start traveling to places where there are places where it's known for some specific food, and then you do this more often. You start doing this more often in such a way that it doesn't even feel like work, but you want to do this more and more. You don't actually get overwhelmed because you really love what you do. But on the other hand, let's say if I had taken a job for copywriting or like blog writing, and I'm not really that interested in food, it would be like work for me. But if I would love it, then trust me, like I would get paid to have fun, something like this. So once the exploration is done, you're on the path. Like you've already put some things into action for what you have in your mind. So let's say you had like some 100% in your mind, and then you already put like 5% into action. So the 5% or 10% of what you've done is already reality, and there's still 90% to come, which takes time. So the next phase is when you put it out there, like when you put your business out there, or when you put your blogs out there, when you put your like work out there. So there's only two responses that's gonna come. Before this, I want to talk about the phase called mental walls or mental blocks. So mental walls, what I mean by mental walls is like, let's say you're a food blogger, and you see this restaurant which is quite sophisticated, and you wanna interview the the chef or something. But then this chef looks quite arrogant and not approachable. If he looks, he looks from far away. He looks like someone who you can't approach, because you feel like he might be arrogant to you, or he would directly say no. The thing is, you don't know what the answer is. So the best way to do that is to remove that mental block in your head, that okay, he might say this, he might say that, she might say this, she might say that. It's better to directly go and ask for feedback than to like assume feedback. So that's what I mean by mental blocks. Like I could give you an example. There was a time when I volunteered here in Slovakia to like run a pub basically, and we were doing quite well. It was profitable and stuff like this. So the fact about me is that I don't speak Slovak. I do try to understand, but I can't speak Slovak fluently as well. When I was searching for jobs in gastro business like 2 years ago, I couldn't get a job just because of the fact that I didn't know Slovak, which is quite understandable. But it was a barrier. It was a language barrier, but it was also a mental block. Like I could run a place, I could run a pub without knowing the language. I could have definitely done a job without knowing the language, but only I knew that. So people don't look beyond beyond these mental blocks, and that can be quite tricky. So you got to take that risk of removing that mental block, and even if the chef looks arrogant, you want his review, so you go and ask him. The yes or no comes later. So you put your action there. You've tried. So what you can do is try. So you've given your 100%. So that is done. Once that is done, you put out your content there, you put out your business there, you put out your product, service, whatever. Once you're put out, there's only two outcomes from this. And the first outcome is it's a yes or it's a no. Like that's the outcome. It's either successful or it's not successful. So these are the only two outcomes there is. So let's say your blogging went well and you're successful, you're getting successful and stuff like this. That's an imposter. Like success is an imposter, and so is failure. Like I've been reading this since childhood from this poem called If, and I do believe in this philosophy. Success teaches you things, stays with you. It's like a person in disguise, like wearing a mask who you know nothing about. And the same thing with failure. But these two people or these two imposters have influences on you. They can affect you, change you, and literally make you a completely different person. And this can either depress you or overwhelm you, and you don't want that, you know. So once these two outcomes are there, once either it's a success or it's a failure. See, since you already like blogging, if you love love writing, love doing what you do, then it doesn't really matter that it's either 100% or it's either successful or a failure. But what you had in your head is already out there in the physical world, or like in reality. So you don't have to worry about it, you know. and that's the thing. So you, even if it's a failure, you can be proud of it, that you completed something. So that's one good thing. On the other hand, when you're successful as well, like, you know that you completed it, but you have a spotlight since you're successful. So that's the thing, you know. That's what I mean. And yeah, this is like the first part of the podcast, and there's like 3 more parts. If you are interested, you can listen to that after this. The next one is called Fools Russian. Yeah, only Fools Russian, but I want to share something about that as well, you know.